I'm Captain Deputy Council. The reason that I'm chairing the meeting this evening is that Councillor Phil Davis, the leader of the Council, has been today in Brussels supporting Wirral's case with the European Commissioners for reinstatement of some funding on the European Regional Development Funds. Colleagues may be aware that the North West is losing about 60% of these funds, as recently announced by the government, and Phil's gone today to lobby the Commission. We just hope to be with us this evening, so I think he may well be on his way back from the airport now. But that's the reason I'm chairing the meeting. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move straight into the agenda now. Are there any declarations of interest on any business before us this evening? Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Can I declare an interest in items 10 and 11 by virtue of the fact that I'm an employee of BT?
Item 17, Chair, the whole school in public transport policy. I declare an interest as a children action.
Okay, thank you. That's it on declarations. We're moving to the minutes of the last meeting. Is it agreed that I sign those minutes?
Agreed.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, what I intend to do, items 3, 4, 5 and 6 are in the leaders' portfolio, so I'm intending to move straight to item 7, which is the council shared service proposal, which is under my own portfolio. So, by way of introduction for this report. This report sets out for Cabinet a proposal for sharing back office functions. This is one of the exciting transformation projects in terms of delivering budget savings, collaboration with our neighbours, reducing duplication and realising economies of scale for the authority. And you've all read the report, but I'd like to draw attention to a number of themes within it. The services that we're looking to collaborate and join with Cheshire West and Chester on are finance, IT, HR and legal services. We're already sharing and managing some work around procurement. So this is a step up from that. This will be about sharing best practice, about driving forward excellent services and delivering value for money for the people of Wirral. Cheshire West and Chester, a merged council since 2009, have realised about 40% savings on their corporate service function since they've merged those services. And the potential savings for the two authorities of us joining forces with them on these functions is £6.8 million in total. So that's about £3.4 million for us as an authority, and that's in the first year. We're seeking Cabinet approval to progress the scoping work now. There's quite a bit of work needs to be done in terms of working out how the arrangements would work, what the governance would be like. And as a starter of that, the leader will be signing a Concord Act with the leader of Cheshire West and Chester Council. Basically, that's a working together agreement, a proposal to work together. There will be governance arrangements worked up, but the proposal that you will have seen from the Cabinet report is that there's 3 members from our authority, 3 from Cheshire West and Chester, with a board of directors to support and progress the work. So the scoping exercise will go on between now and October, when a further report will be brought to Cabinet. And also, we are able to apply for the Transformation Challenge bid. The government set up a fund of £9 million for authorities to bid into. This is a fund for authorities who are prepared to re-engineer and drive forward into changes in the way they deliver services. And our officers have now put together a bid, and we will be bidding for a share of that pot to enable us to take forward that agenda. So I'm going to pause there and ask if there's any comments or questions from back office services be approved with the medium-term aim of fully merged shared corporate service, that a report with detailed proposals, indicative timescales be brought back to members in October to provide an assessment of the financial and service impact and the potential benefits for both authorities, that both councils endorse the Concordat, setting out the direction of travel, to approve the joint submission from the DCLG's Transformation Challenge Award, and that any vacancies that we should have in any back office service areas be automatically advertised that no vacancies, I beg your pardon, that no vacancies will be advertised without prior reference back to the fact that we are now looking to enter joint arrangements and shared service with the authority. I also think this will provide us, colleagues, with an opportunity as well, with my bit of paper here, provide us with an opportunity going forward for sharing our IT services on a much wider scale, sharing a digital platform across both of the authorities and sharing all of those functions around finance and other areas of work. So there really is some, an exciting future ahead, and a lot of work to be done now on ensuring that we get this right for the people of Wirral. So we're happy to approve those recommendations. Thank you. Okay, it's me again, right? It's me on agenda item 8, which is the corporate plan performance management report. Okay, colleagues, this sets out for Cabinet the corporate plan performance management framework and the priorities in the corporate plan in a coherent set of outcome measures and targets. These targets will be based on SMART objectives, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-limited objectives. And what's been worked up to date with the 3 strategic directors is how those targets will be set into the work plan going forward for the corporate plan. But the key for me on this report, I will say a bit more about it, the key for me on this report is that for the first time, I think in all the time that I've been a councillor, is that there will be an understandable and consistent framework for measuring delivery of our priorities. And I think this is really, across the piece, it will be understandable. And in terms of how this will be monitored, it will be monitored monthly to the directors, through their management teams, to lead members, and quarterly it will go to our new policy and performance committees and also to risk management as well. So it will be in the committee cycle, committee framework. I think this is a very coherent business-like approach to how we're going to do our performance management. I think what I'd just like to say is that the indicators that you have noted in the report have been discussed with the Coordinating Policy and Performance Committee, and they have given some very helpful feedback in terms of the narrative around those, and it will be our intention to develop that into the policy framework going forward. So what we're looking for here, colleagues, is for Cabinet to agree with the recommendation at, where are we now, the recommendation? Yeah. That's
Page 71.
Page 71, yeah. The recommendation is that Cabinet are requested to indicate their agreement with the proposed dashboard and to refer this proposal to Council for approval. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. It's me again, number 9, and then I'm going to really honestly hand over to other people. Item 9 is the improvement board key messages, and in speaking to this, I would like to just make a number of comments. Right, the key messages are that the board highlighted at its last meeting that shared services should be an area that we're looking at, and clearly you just approved that report, so we're on track with that. The improvement board highlighted to us the culture change programme, and I would like to see that introduced. I understand we'll be having a report in the early autumn on the culture change. And you will see attached to your report the ambitious transformation projects which were outlined to the improvement board by the directors at the last meeting. I want to just highlight to you that the peer challenge and the improvement board highlighted the need for a clear long-term vision for the authority, and we will be looking to do this as part of the culture change as well. I'm very happy to take any of the questions on the messages in the improvement board. Otherwise, I'm happy to note messages. Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 10 now.
Thank you, Chair. This report provides an update on the progress of the broadband delivery BD and seeks agreement on implementation issues that are needed to enable the project to proceed. The next steps of the project are also outlined. In the background in the report, in paragraphs 2.1 and 2.8, it states it's set up by the Department for Culture, Media and Sport body, Broadband Delivery UK, has allocated £530 million to fund broadband infrastructure works across the UK. The government's policy is to ensure that where possible, people and businesses across the UK have widespread access to superfast broadband services. The project, or this project should I say, focuses on addressing those particular areas across Merseyside where the private sector has failed to provide superfast broadband services to date because it is not currently commercially viable to do so. Based on the existing level of superfast broadband, BT UK has allocated to Merseyside a sum of £5.4 million. The government's allocation comes with the requirement that public match funding must be found and approved. Approval was granted on the 26th of March this year for £5.5 million of ERDF monies, giving the project a total of £10.9 million. A private sector consortium, contribution, typically around 20%, will also be forthcoming, the details of which will be known once the procurement process has concluded. Chair, there are many benefits to the city region in having access to superfast broadband. In summary, it will improve the attractiveness of Wirral to inward investment, help improve business productivity and services, generate additional GBA for the city region of around £50 million, and help bridge the digital divide and provide a platform for more efficient delivery of public services. I think that's vital in this day and age, particularly with a number of reforms that are coming through, which are just online. So things of this nature are going to help in that respect. In terms of the report and recommendations, in line with BT UK projects across the country, the project on Merseyside is being delivered by a steering group of officers from partnering authorities with input from the Departments of Culture, Media and Sport. For the project to proceed, there are now certain governance and legal issues that need to be addressed. These are the appointment of a lead authority, contracting authority as the accountable body to act on behalf of all partner authorities, the delegation of decision making to the Strategic Director of Regeneration and Environment to allow the project board to appoint an infrastructure supplier and to allow the signing of a project consortium agreement. That's in paragraph 2.5. Liverpool City Council has agreed, Chair, to undertake the role of the council body, subject to the agreements of the other authorities, and agreements that the cost of doing so will be funded largely through ERDF. This arrangement, Chair, will need to be set out in appropriate legal agreements between all the authorities, which also sets out the joint liability to all parties arising from any litigation as a result of the procurement process or in the implementation of the project. BD UK funding is available only to fund capital costs and is expected to be matched in its entirety by other public funding. The approach adopted has been to cover the vast majority of all other costs through DPRF, so as to reduce the need for local authority support. However, it has not been possible to include all costs. As the report sets out in paragraph 3.5, a total of £50,542 was required to cover project management costs split on a pro rata basis, and Wirral share was £17,690. This amount was agreed by Liverpool City Region Cabinet on the 25th of January this year. Just to go on, the delivery timetable is extremely challenging. All avenues are being explored to fast-track the procurement and implementation of the street works. At the time of waiting, the timetable is, bear with me, supplier tender evaluation, including the value for money assessments currently underway, partnership consortium agreement to be agreed and signed, supplier contract agreed July 2013, award contract August 2013, project delivery end of August 2013 to end of 2015. The relevant risks, just to finish, Chair, resource implications and legal issues are set out in the report, paragraphs 5191 and 10.1. Members are asked to, in paragraphs 14.1 to 14.4, are asked to agree with recommendations which are confirm that Liverpool City Council undertakes the role of lead contracting authority or council body for the Merseyside Connected BT UK project. Agree that the management of the BT UK project procurement process includes supply appointments, entering into a partnership consortium agreements and future implementation is delegated to the Student Director of Regeneration and Environment in consultation with the Cabinet member as myself. Finally, with reference to the cost table in the report, as you can see, to agree to underwrite the project management costs that are not eligible for ERDF funding from Wirral Naples Fund reserves. Wirral's maximum share of the ineligible costs using the pro rata method has been estimated, as I said, to be £17,690. And finally, to receive further progress reports on this subject as the project progresses. I hope we can agree with the report, Chair.
Any comments, views, colleagues? Essentially, a good news story. We need to empower bringing ourselves way up into the digital age in every way. Yes?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Green recommendations at 14 in the report. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 11, renewal of community recruitment. Adrian?
Yes, I'll be delighted to move this recommendation. It does follow on very logically from the what we've just in the past. We've been trying to bring forward into the advanced technological age. So I'm rather surprised to have my attention drawn to an article in the press today in which the leader of the opposition has suggested that we should remain in a pretty medieval state as far as the tools that our staff are using go, when we're trying to make it much better for just about every other industry and organisation that's coming into Wirral. Well, the recommendation is very straightforward. We have thousands of pieces of equipment which should have and could have been renewed or refreshed, to use modern IT speak, that means updated, in the year 2010. During that time, of course, of different administrations in power. The kit was not updated at that time. Equipment which should have been renewed after 4 or 5 years, because that's the period of the reasonable life expectancy of this sort of technological equipment, has in fact now become 3 or 4 years too old to be fit for purpose. Our equipment is obsolete, and we're asking our staff, or we would be asking our staff if we didn't redo it, to work with equipment which is simply not up to the job. In addition to that, the main system that we're using, of course, with Windows XP, is going to be dropped by Microsoft in less than a year from now. So this stuff, which should have been updated in 2010, has continued to decline and deteriorate. Frankly, we will not go to ourselves after working in those conditions. We do not intend to become a second-class council where we are not able to keep up with the other councils around us and the industries that we are supposed to serve. We intend to provide a first-class service, and without having the tools to do the job, we can't match up to the responsibilities we ought to do with people at Wirral. I was shocked your legal proposition suggests that we should do such a thing. That would be rather like suggesting to modern agriculture that they should go back to oxen and growing flowers. So I make a recommendation.
Thank you. Yes, Harry.
Chair. Thank you, Chair. As you said, Adrian, there's been some noises of suggesting that this is investment should not be made, that it's a profligate waste of resources. Is it?
Well, profligate waste of resources, yeah. Well, I mean, I know that conserve means to avoid change, keep things as they are. But thank God the people of Wirral threw the Conservatives out in May 2012, because these IT upgrades should have been implemented in 2010 when they were in charge. That didn't happen, and they managed the council's affairs so incompetently that far from updating the tools that our staff work with, they left us with a £17 million budget deficit. Was that a deliberate policy of scorched earth, or was it just incompetence? Seems to me it's probably one of the two. Which one is it? No, I do understand this, but as far as I'm concerned, we have no intention of asking our staff to start dipping loose wheels into bladders of sepia to write their reports. No intention whatsoever.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? I think I would just want to point out that here challenge as one of their recommendations when they reported back to us in October, made it clear that we needed to get our ICT systems fit for purpose and in a state where they are able to assist us to take forward our agenda.
That's quite right. We have in this council is unprecedented. But the Conservatives want us to be unprecedentedly bad. Sorry, in Ireland.
Harry?
You mentioned the peer people. It's just a pity that the Tories or the opposition didn't attend these meetings because they could have picked up exactly what you just said.
And I think, everybody who knows me has heard me say from this chair a number of times that you could get Wi-Fi on the top of the bus at one time, but you couldn't get it in Wallasey Town Hall. Well, under this administration, it's here.
Yes.
And it's going forward now with the IT. So, colleagues, coming through the recommendation of 2, the Cabinet approves the plans to refresh the obsolete IT access devices and associated equipment as set out in the report. Thank you. Here comes our leader, Bill. Welcome back.
The cabinet over there.
Would you like to take the chair? I'm not calling it the hot seat. I'm not calling it the hot seat.
Come and share out.
Lovely laugh, isn't it?
Okay, right, well, apologies for being late. I've just got back from Brussels lobbying for Wirral and Merseyside, the European funding, so I'll go into a bit in more detail at another time as to what the response has been, but so apologies for being late, and thank you for standing in for me. Right, so we go on to item 12, which is the neighbourhood housing and engagement items. So the first one is private sector housing regeneration assistance policy 2013-14. George?
The council provides a range of assistance for low-income homeowners under the private sector housing and regeneration assistance policy. Guidance recommends that this policy should be regularly reviewed. Any significant changes should be subject to public consultation. In addition, since the introduction of the current policy in October 2011, a number of minor changes have been approved and implemented under the delegated authority. These minor changes have to be reported to Cabinet for formal review of the assistance policy. In light of the financial constraints facing Wirral Council, this review has taken the opportunity to rationalise the assistance available to residents and owners to reflect the limited resources available and the ending of some regeneration schemes originally started as part of the former housing market in Wirral. The draft revised policy was subject to public consultation via the Council's website, local press and bespoke leaflets distributed via the Council's one-stop shops. Council staff were also invited to comment on the proposed changes. The consultation period ended on the 19th of June and no responses were received from the public. The suggested changes to the current policy include the withdrawal of the following assistance. 1. Relocation of rent support grant. 2. Group care and neighbourhood facelift grant. 3. Handy person service. 4. HMO fire safety loans. And 5. Home installation program, cozy homes installation. In addition, suggested amendments to retained assistance include the introduction of administration fees in connection with the energy property grants and cozy homes heating grants, and also operational refinements to empty property grants. Since the current assistance policy was introduced, a range of minor changes have been made to the empty property grant, home repair assistance loan, and cozy homes heating grant, and these are listed in the Cabinet report. I should point out that all assistance provided through the revised policy is subject to sufficient resources being available. The proposed changes will streamline the assistance policy, provide an additional income stream to the Council, and make operational improvements, whilst at the same time retain the focus of assistance to those deemed to be most in need. I move, Chair.
Okay, thanks, George. We're asking Cabinet to agree to policy and to note minor changes made to the assistance policy since last one. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, that takes us on to item 13, Homelessness Strategy 2013-18.
Again, for this screen before, but just to reiterate, the Homelessness Strategy is a statutory requirement of the Homelessness Act of 2002, which places a duty on local authorities to adopt a strategic approach to homeless issues. To do this, a comprehensive review of all the forms of homelessness for the local area is required, which informs the publication of a homelessness strategy at least every 5 years. The findings of Wirral's homelessness review, completed in 2012, have provided a clear direction for preventing and addressing homelessness in the borough, and have formed the basis for the development of this new 5-year homelessness strategy and a strategic homelessness action plan supporting it. I would draw Cabinet's attention to the fact that an initial draft homelessness strategy in 2013